Alright, so I just wanted to talk out some feelings that I had just about today. I had both an appointment with my therapist and I saw the dietitian for the first time. I guess the most important thing, or I guess two things from my therapist appointment that we talked about was one, the first one is like visualizing myself succeeding, because I tend to get home from work and I just like fall apart. Like I don't cry, I don't even necessarily feel anything, I just fall apart and use a lot of behaviors and just generally feel sick and like crap mentally. So she wants me to try not only planning what I'm going to do when I get home or when I get to work, but around those times visualizing myself doing the things that I want to do, not necessarily the disordered behaviors that my body kind of leans toward. So that's one thing that I'm going to work on this week. And then the second thing is leaning on my support system. So I have a couple friends that I talk to, and also I need to let Josiah in more. That's the main thing. I used to talk to him a lot about my eating disorder, and now I don't really anymore, especially because we're living together and I've obviously dropped weight and I'm obviously binging and purging, and I know that he's aware of that to a certain degree. And I'm scared to tell him because, one, I don't want to hurt him, even though I'm sure he probably already knows to a certain extent. And two, the more he is aware of my behaviors, the less I can do them, especially with the binging and purging. And I guess also I don't want to disappoint him. I'm scared of overwhelming and disappointing him. So, I don't know. I was telling my therapist how I feel like it's be better if I like gradually let him in, as opposed to just being like, okay, we need to talk, and then being like, okay, so this is really what's been going on the past 2.5 years when we've been married, probably for the past 3 or 4 that you probably have been aware of, but didn't know it was this bad. I don't know. He does know that I saw a dietitian today, and so I'm kind of trying to figure out how exactly I'm gonna tell him about that appointment. He knows that I went. I basically just told him that I'm tired of feeling tired all the time, and so it's a dietitian that's associated with my therapist's office, and we're gonna work with my food intake to see if maybe we can tweak things and get me to a point where I have more energy. But I didn't really tell him about the binging and purging, and I don't know. I think it's going to be a while before I can actually tell him how bad it is, because I feel like he can't do anything to help, and I don't want him to feel helpless. I don't know. I'm still processing this, as you can see. But anyway, I think tonight we need to go grocery shopping anyway, so I'm going to see if maybe he'll help me meal plan a little bit. Regarding the dietitian, she was really nice. Everything, not that she meant for it to feel rushed, but it's just like a lot to take in in one session, because basically we went over my history and like the behaviors that I use, and like the behaviors in detail was just scary because I don't ever talk about that like ever, and here I am with like a total stranger like, oh yeah, I usually eat this and then do this. It's just weird, and I think I realize how disordered I really am when I'm verbalizing it. But basically, for this week, she said that she wants to go ahead and keep my calorie intake about where it is now, just for this week. I asked her if she thought that the struggling with binging and purging was possibly due to not having enough intake. And she said, yes, she probably thinks that she'll have to increase it at some point. But right now, this is where we're going to start. And we're going to start more focusing on spreading or scheduling, I don't want to say scheduling meals, but like having scheduled breakfast, snack, so on and so forth, and making them balanced. Because right now my intake's just like kind of freaking all over the place, and it's just a mess. So hopefully she thinks that may help with the binging and the purging initially. And she wants me to get away from counting calories, which I was like, whoa, that's like a big step for our first appointment, especially because it's been such a huge part of my life for the past 10 years. And she said that, I don't know, we talked about it for a while, and basically, like, I don't even really know, like, it seems like what she gave me is kind of based on the exchange system, but she said, you know, basically, like, pick some of these things, and it will all total up to be around X amount of calories, but you have to look more at what you're eating and following choices as opposed to the calories, which that makes sense. I just wasn't really expecting that, but at the same time, and I feel like so many different places and so many different people have different schools of thought regarding, you know, eating and how, sorry, Boo's barking and God knows what, how a person in recovery should eat or should start eating, or just the whole process. But I think she was kind of surprised how okay I was with it. I asked her a lot of questions, but, you know, I told her, like, at this point, I'm just tired of being like this, and obviously what I'm doing isn't working, because when it comes down to it, I'm miserable, and I'm tired, and I feel like my life could be so much more. And so, like, what do I have to lose by at least starting to put some of my trust in trained, credentialed professionals who deal with this all the time and know what they're doing? Because my therapist, I mean, she specifically deals with weight disorders and eating disorders. And the dietitian does as well. So we'll just have to see what happens. I like them both. I definitely am really glad that I stuck with it and tried to find a therapist that was a good fit. And I really commend the person that I saw before this, that I only saw for one appointment, that called me and said, I think that maybe this person is going to be a better fit for you, because she was right, and she has a lot of experience, and I don't know, I really like her, and I feel like she has a good, and I just feel like she gets it, if that makes sense. I mean, not that, like, my case is some special snowflake, but, like, every person is unique, but then at the same time, there's certain underlying things with the whole process of an eating disorder that are standard, but yet to somebody who does not have a good grasp of that, it seems really bizarre. So I feel like she has a good understanding of how the disorder works as a whole, but also how to tailor, I guess, recovery to each individual. I don't know, that's really about all I have to say. I feel like that was 9 minutes worth of rambling, but whatever. Boo's ear is disgusting. You could probably see her shaking her head in the background. I feel bad because her ears are hot and gross, and I need to get her some kind of ointment for them. But yeah, so meal planning, woo! Ooh, look at the veins on my arms, gross. Alright, have a good weekend. Happy Friday.